the time to invite our special guest, distinguished Toastmaster Lona. Lona, are you there in the room? Can I have a quick? All right, Lona is here. And before I invite Lona on the screen, it is my duty to talk a bit about who Lona is and where is she coming from. Lona Fink is passionate about connecting everyone to the world, to the people and resources needed to achieve their objectives, both professionally and personally. For over 27 years, her focus has been on building and maintaining close relationships with her customers, partners, internal teams, fellow Toastmasters, and more. Luna's goal is to have everyone feel supported, included, and valued. As the president of a new club that was struggling to get off the ground, she has gone through many of the growing pains and she understands the model needed for success. She would not have been able to do any of this without the immense support of Michael Levy. Michael is the other club mentor who guided Lona throughout the process. Toastmasters Club was re-kicked off in December 2022, and she's very pleased that she made this club select distinguished by achieving 7 goals out of 10. Luna began her journey this Toastmasters year as an area director to help other Toastmaster clubs drive retention and growth with a focus on achieving their distinguished Toastmaster goals. Additionally, she is serving as Yoodli Ambassador. She is a member of District 47. She is serving all the districts all over the world, and she is carrying a focus to ensure every Toastmaster understands the value of this very amazing tool, Yoodli, the artificial intelligence tool of Toastmaster International. So, ladies and gentlemen, with a big round of applause, let's invite our special guest, Toastmaster Lona Fink, Yoodli, the AI tool, Yoodli, the AI tool, Toastmaster Lona Fink.
Thank you all very much for this opportunity to speak with you. I'm going to see if I can share my screen and then we will kick it off. So let's see if you can. You all can see me, right? Yes? Good.
Yes,
perfect.
Lona.
I'm going to keep it like this because I absolutely love to see all your faces on my screen. So my presentation will be over here, but that's absolutely fine. By way of hands, how many of you are familiar with Yoodli today? Anyone? Does anyone know of it? Some maybe, maybe not.
I saw the emails, but when I went there last night, it was not a live link.
Huh. Okay. Well, I'm going to show you how to get to it through your Toastmasters website in just 1 second. Yoodli is your AI personalized speech coach that's going to provide you with real-time, actionable, and judgment-free feedback every single time and anytime you speak. And let's see if I can get this to work. Here we go. Okay, I'm Lona Fink, and I did put a QR code out there. If any of you want to snag that QR code and put me as a contact, feel free to do so. It's going to give you my LinkedIn, my email, phone number, whatever you need to help answer any additional questions. My passion is absolutely to help others find their true authentic voice, whatever that is. I am an area director for District 47, and because of Yoodli and a couple of presentations, I'm also part of an advanced Toastmasters club over in Trinidad and Tobago. It's amazing how global Toastmasters truly is. And I even gave a keynote speech a couple of weeks ago to a district out in Africa. Unbelievable, the amazing opportunities that Toastmasters International and Yoodli can provide each one of us. But before we hop into the demonstration, I wanted to bring you back just a few years ago when I froze on a Zoom camera. I don't know if any of you have been there, but my heart was beating so fast. I had sweat dripping down my face, and I knew that if I could just get through the next 2 slides, I wasn't about to ever be in that position again. Trust me, I did not want to ever, I wasn't a public speaker, didn't want to even give presentations. And then I spent the next year on LinkedIn learning, trying to understand my body's chemical reaction. Why am I reacting this way? I did every single presentation you can think of. And it wasn't until I was gifted my first Toastmasters membership that all of a sudden, all the pieces started falling into place. I had a club and a family that would support me, that would give me feedback, that would help me feel like I could do and achieve anything. And I will be honest, though, when I first got that email from Toastmasters International saying, "Welcome to Toastmasters, you're officially a Toastmaster," I did not feel like a Toastmaster at first. And it took some time for me to understand all of the values and everything around Toastmasters. And then as our brand new club was just getting off the ground, the club president stepped down from the role. He decided he had had enough and he wasn't going to be our club president anymore. And so, as the introduction said, I stepped in as club president. And it was because of how well that club did. We succeeded. We had a great time. That I also have the opportunity now to speak in front of you and then also give you the value of what Yoodli can bring. And I will tell you that it was really I think it was December or January of this past year, Matt Kinsey, our former international president, sent out a video about Yoodli. And when he sent out the video and he explained that it's an AI speech coach and that I could do a recording and get feedback anytime, anywhere, I didn't have to wait for my club meeting. My whole world changed. And in February, I was contacted by the head of product because I had had so many recordings in the Toastmasters site. He asked me why I loved it. And I said, "Are you kidding me? This is amazing. I can get my filler words. I can get my action items. I can get anything I want, anytime I want." And that's when I was asked to become a Yoodli ambassador and spread the great words about Yoodli. And I'll tell you, it's all of the opportunities are just absolutely amazing. I've presented at 4 different TLIs for the district. I've only been a Toastmaster a little over a year, and I'm giving demonstrations. And the amazing thing, the final thing, is that I was even asked to be a TEDx coach. I can't believe the amount of things that can come from you dedicating yourself to Toastmasters and then also allowing the growth that you can do as an individual. And so, without further ado, what are Yoodli's benefits? Yoodli will give you filler words, pacing, eye contact. One thing that I was amazed that Yoodli did is it said, "Here's what the audience heard." Now, I've been in corporate America for 27 years, and I've done recordings and I've listened to my own recordings. I know what I'm saying, but is my message coming across to the audience? That to me was a game changer. Also, Yoodli will give you 4 to 5 additional questions that maybe you want to incorporate into your next version of your speech or be ready to answer at the end of your speech. Again, these two are amazing. It will also give you an instant transcript, a summary of your speech, any follow-up questions, and then there's even some fun games that I know a ton of clubs do with table topics. And I'll go through all of those with you in just a moment. But the best part of this for the Toastmasters is having that pathways practice and being able to collaborate not only with your friends, but even with the VPE or your coach that you have internally, your mentor, allowing them to see how you're progressing and have them give you instant feedback on a speech that you just recorded. There's also with public Yoodli meeting analytics, and it's an awesome way to also recruit new members. And so here is a sample speech, and there's a ton of sample speeches out there. This particular one is by Elon Musk. And My biggest thing is it has your non-inclusive words. So if we ever use a word like guys or girls, it's going to tell you it's non-inclusive. And it gives you the top keywords, any repetition words, the filler words. You're going to see in another example, and I'll bring up my own Yoodlis in just a moment. It said that it's natural to have fewer than 4% filler words. As a brand new Toastmaster, I was so focused as president of the club on filler words that I would literally write my speech every single time I did a Pathways speech. And I would put it in presentation mode and I would read the speech. I wasn't looking at the audience. I wasn't connecting with my club. I was so focused on not having a filler word. And Yoodli saying that it's natural to have fewer than 4%. Oh my gosh. Like a weight was lifted off my shoulders and I didn't have to be perfect. I just needed to connect. That was my biggest, another huge takeaway from me with Yoodli. Another thing here, and this is where I was talking about before, where you could share up here, you see where it says share, your Yoodli. And then if you were to, let's say, hit play on the video, you could stop the Yoodli as soon as you hear something that's amazing, and then you could type in your feedback immediately. This is what that TEDx team that I talked to you about is using right now between the speakers and the coaches to give feedback. It's an amazing way for us to say, you know what, I would put a pause here for effect. Or this is an unbelievable example, but maybe did you want to think about something else to add also just to make it sound better? These are just some examples that you can do, but it's going to put the feedback right here and it's going to be on the right-hand side in your information. Again, being able to collaborate for me, wow, unbelievable. This is an option on public version of Yoodli, and I can show you this in just a moment, but there is a way to have Yoodli attached to your Teams calls and your Zoom calls, if you're interested in that. It's a great way to find out what talk time. Are you monopolizing the conversation or are you letting others talk? And then there are a few other things that I did want to just show you. Here are the AI-powered speaking games. As I said, there's two versions of Yoodli. There's the Toastmasters version that I'm going to go ahead and show you in just a moment. And then I'll also briefly show you the public version of Yoodli. The amazing thing about this is that the games are exactly the same. So games are going to always be the same on both versions. Metaphormania is you're going to get 3 to 4 different things, like changing a tire is like going to the beach because. And at my last Toastmasters meeting, they had 8 different examples like that. And then they did it for 8 seconds each, which meant they had 64 seconds, just a minute, to get through all of those things. And it was fun to see how creative the Toastmasters could be using that Metaphormania. The second one that I love to use during Toastmasters meetings is called Spin a Yarn. If you remember growing up, and you would say, I went to the beach and I brought a banana, and then I brought a wrench. And you have to try to explain these 10 different objects and how they all pull into the story that you're given. And you get a points for however many come up on the screen that you're able to pull into the story. Again, that's just another fun one to play. Everyone all of a sudden is on, and they don't get to think about, oh, wait, if I just don't say, no filler words. Yeah. That's that one that I was talking about before. How long can you go without saying a filler word? It's fun, but the other ones really put people on their feet. And if you want to see these seasons, everyone grasp and have a great time, filler word is a fun one also. And then there's a storyteller one that you can even leverage. So these are just some things that you can do with the speaking games aspect of it. A fun way to kind of play table topics. Public Yoodli allows a couple of different things, and I can demo those with you a little bit later. It gives you private Yoodli, which will allow you to record pretty much every meeting that you have. And you can get feedback on your pace, your eye contact, any follow-up questions that you may or may not have for the group after that conversation. And it's a great way to keep you accountable if it's something that you want to do. I can absolutely give more information about it after the call today. And then the other one is Public Yoodli also allows for mock interviewing. And I know that the Toastmasters version that I'll show you in just a moment has you do presentations and then also table topics. Those are the two options. But the public version is going to have a few different options. And again, just two different versions of Yoodli that we have available. The Toastmasters version is 100% free right now with your paid subscription to Toastmasters. This is why Toastmasters love Yoodli. It's like having your counter grammarian and general evaluator whenever you speak. Sometimes it's great to have that. I will tell you, we once used Yoodli for our Toastmasters meeting, and I was the counter. And I think for that meeting, we might have had, I think I counted about 20 so's, what, those types of things. And then when we brought up the Yoodli analytics, I think there was 161. I may have missed a few, but it definitely will pick every single thing up that you have that's out there. And then there's also in collaboration with World Champions of Public Speaking. Here's some Yoodli Press. I will go ahead and make sure that there is a presentation of this given to all the Toastmasters so that you can leverage it also in the future, because there's some great links. There's a curated list right here. I always like to give the presentation deck out afterwards. And so without any further ado, I'm just going to hop into the demonstration. Okay, how many of you are aware of this Toastmasters International? All of you are, correct? I'm assuming everyone knows what this is. Perfect. If we scroll all the way down to the bottom of this home page, it's going to say from the organization to you. And I know a lot of us know this because this is where we get our meeting tools, distinguished performance reports for our clubs, how to renew, but this is where Yoodli sits, right on that home page. So if you scroll all the way down to the bottom of your home page and you click this button, this is going to come up. And it's going to actually come up with your home page first. And as I said, Matt Kinsey, right, gave that video. It's out here on the Toastmasters website, explaining everything about Yoodli and how awesome everything is. And then here you can go ahead and practice either a presentation, or you could practice even table topics. One of the things that I absolutely love is, being able to do, a funny story with Lucky. Let's just say I just did this as a quick little table topic to see what happened. And, it says, what's something funny that recently happened with you? And I was able to explain how I was walking a dog, my daughter's dog, and an iguana fell out of the tree and scared us, right? And so as it went ahead, this is Yoodli kind of having a conversation, because I was able to pause the video. It said, okay, how did you react when the dog jumped in your arms? And then I went ahead and I explained how I reacted. And this is almost like a conversational piece of a presentation that you could do. The best part about this is with the analytics, it talks about my eye contact. 92% of the time, I was looking at the camera. It said I was perfectly centered. I've pretty much got that down because I've been doing so many of these. The pacing says I had about 134 words per minute. They want you to be between 120 and 170. If it's below 120, it's going to say you could play back at 1.25 to hear how it sounds a little bit faster. Or if it's above 170, I'm probably well above 170 right now, you could slow it down, right? To hear 0.75. How does it sound if you're maybe a little bit slower? The other amazing thing talks about your pauses. Where did you pause and take a breath? And then also, were you smiling? And it's able to look at all of these things as we're giving our speeches. I absolutely love using this because it gives me the ability to understand, am I doing what I need to do to be effective? Under the word choice, it talks about repetition. And maybe I said something twice. And then it also talks about that counter, natural to have fewer than 4% filler words. Again, a weight's lifted off my shoulders. I don't have to be perfect. I just have to connect with my audience. And that's my biggest thing. Conciseness, what could have, gone better. Sentence starter, you're starting too many sentences with the word I, maybe use something else. Well, this is a story about when I was walking a dog and, the iguana fell out of the tree. So things like that. It's just kind of a fun little story to do. But if you go on the left-hand side, you'll see these are the games that I was talking to you about that you're able to play whenever you have any table topics or anything. But if you want, I can do a quick demonstration about Yoodli. Would that work for everyone? See how it works? Yes, everyone's still with me? Your head shaking? Good. Okay, let's try table topics. See if it's going to work. It should work. Okay. Pets. Oh, goodness. Do I want this one? Okay, let's see if I can make this work. 3-second countdown. Pets are better than children because they don't talk back. They love you unconditionally. They aren't going to slam the door and walk in the other room. And as soon as you come home from a long day at work, they're going to jump into your arms. I'll give you an example. I currently have 2 dogs sitting behind me, but my daughter's dog, I absolutely love, and I think he's in love with me. I'm Gigi for this dog because I'm not quite ready to be a grandma, but as soon as I see him, he's jumping up and down and just wants to lick all the makeup off my face because he's so happy to see me. That's why I think dogs are better than children. So I can say I'm done speaking. I have 2 options at this point. I can either save the Yoodli or I can say to ask me AI follow-up questions. So let's ask Yoodli to almost do the conversation that I was doing before. Let's see. Can I share? Oh, any other reasons why pets are better than children? I would have to say pets are definitely cost less money than children. I don't know how many times my kids might call me or say, hey, I just got Uber Eats, or all of those other fun things that all of a sudden the charges, my husband will ask me, did you pay for this or buy this on Amazon? No, honey, that wasn't me. We have a 20-year-old and a 23-year-old. Love them, but I will tell you, they definitely spend much more money than the dogs. I could then ask one more time. Any other reason why you think? Oh my gosh. At the end of all of this, though, I absolutely love my kids, and I wouldn't change a thing about having a son, daughter, and the 2 dogs that I have. Okay. So now we're going to end the session. And when we go to end the session, you have the option to save your Yoodli. And what's going to happen is it's going to now pull the whole transcript in, completely pulled in. I can share this Yoodli with whoever I want to by clicking here, typing in any email address that I have. Go ahead and share it. And then the amazing thing that I didn't show you on the other screen is that it has this little wand, and I call it a little wand here. It has the option to rephrase anything that you say concisely. So if you say rephrase concisely, it's going to say pets are superior to children, and it's going to give you their version of it. Okay. So another one is simplify into main points. You could do that so that you just have your bullet points and you're ready to start talking, and that way you don't have that whole thing. And then the final one that they're always going to give you is rewrite as a limerick. I think this is just Yoodli's way of having a great time with the software overall. It's just a fun way of what they're doing, and any time you see any of this and you have your recording, you can do any of this through the Toastmasters website. I wanted to share this with you all because I think it's an absolutely amazing platform. But let's just see the analytics for a minute. I had some filler words. I was probably getting a little too comfortable with you all and excited to talk about my kids and my dogs. That's my biggest thing. It's interesting that it talks about weak words. So should probably be pulled up under the counter. And that's something I'm going to have to adjust because you can adjust what words you want to have and where you want them. But the interesting thing is my sentences, I only had 13%. So I'm doing better than starting over 50% with I. And then the delivery, the eye contact. I was probably looking up, trying to think of how I wanted to say some things. And it was conversational, a little fast in some places, but I had my smiles and my pauses, and it says I was looking good. So with this being said, what do you all think? Do you have any questions for me? Anyone? If you don't have any questions, I can show you a little bit of the public version of Yoodli if you want me to. Yes, Diana.
I see you on Zoom here using this tool.
Mhm.
If you're at an in-person meeting,
Yes.
does it still work as long as you have a computer capturing the speaker?
So you would have to have the video working. You would have to almost have it be a hybrid meeting in order to have it capture, right? So I know that the group that I have is a hybrid group, and I can share with you one of our last meetings here. I just want to show you what it looks like. So Selfish Toastmasters was right here. And it was a group meeting that we did. We did the whole Toastmasters meeting. They had some key points, right? Playing games. And it was funny because during this particular Toastmasters, we did Spin a Yarn and Metaphor Mania. And they talked about, what were some other things that we talked about? Here's another way that someone could have said something. So we have that in here. And you'll see here, right? It's hybrid. So they were standing in the room and doing the table topic session with Yoodli. I think I was the one presenting it. And then if we go though to the analytics, there were 67 questions asked overall during the meeting. And in order to get the analytics during the meeting, one of the things that I do is I stop it after, right before the general evaluator starts their piece. Because that way they don't see any of this information and we're able to let Yoodli do all of the analytics before everything starts. It's not to say the counter didn't count properly. This is going to pick everything up that you say. And it's a fun way of doing things. It talks about the talk time, who talked the most. This was in person, right? So it could have been 4 or 5 different people in person, but then everyone else who was on Zoom, how much were they talking? And then it also talks about the delivery. 64% we had the eye-centered. We are overall 155 words a minute, which is pretty good for all of us. And then we had smiles. And Yoodli is going to pick up from this camera, not really so much from the room, but does that help with the meetings? Perfect. Okay.
Lona,
Awesome.
So
this
we
is-
have,
oh.
go ahead.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. This Stan McCluskey. I'm very familiar with Yoodli, and one of the founders reached out to me, reference signing up for a subscription. With
Yes.
it being part of the Toastmasters, is it included with our Toastmasters dues?
So this version of Yoodli is, you could practice presentations or table topics. Okay, so this version absolutely is included, and you could still get the analytics. The one though that I'm showing you is a more robust version. So this one you can practice interviewing, you can practice a presentation, you can practice a conversation. It's amazing because you can almost have a conversation with AI. It's funny. I'm thinking about what should I name my company? Do you know how many different options I have from ChatGPT in a conversation I'm having? You can only imagine the information and coming back and forth. Way too many options. But the
So
amazing
Lorna,
thing, yes.
oh, so are you saying that the one you showed us, we would need to sign up for a subscription, or is this included with Toastmasters? Because
So there's
Yoodli is an awesome product.
Yes, Yoodli is absolutely amazing. There's two different versions of Yoodli. There will always be the Yoodli that's hooked to your Toastmaster subscription. Okay. And the reason why I wanted to show this to you is because I know that everyone in your district is likely going to be working on contests and speeches and pathways. And I want to make sure that they understand they can practice with Yoodli for free and it doesn't cost them anything additionally.
Oh, that's
If
awesome. That's awesome.
If they want more of the bells and whistles and being able
No,
to,
I still don't.
Yes.
Would like to.
Thank you.
I would like to have a conversation on exactly what the differences are,
Yep,
and
yes.
whether within the Toastmasters model in
Mhm.
1 or 2 years, whatever, we would be able to pay for the higher level version of AI within our Toastmasters package. I kind of feel like this was a little bait and switch. I need to know what I directly have access to.
Yep. And what you directly have access to is going to be when you go into Yoodli, right? And you're able to go in and you go down here and you click on this button right here. You're able to go in and practice any presentation and you're able to practice table topics. That is included in your Toastmasters subscription, your Toastmasters model, everything else.
With the same analytics you showed us today.
Correct. Yes, you saw I did the analytics today. Yep,
Okay.
that was the analytics. What's not included, so you're not going to get there's with this, I have a dashboard. So it tells me how many filler words I've had over time, what's my pacing, what's my talk time. I'm also able to create hubs. I know there are some Toastmasters clubs that will use this private version of Yoodli and have everyone kind of give their speeches. And they'll work through the VPE to have the information in here to help them elevate the club. So there's some other things that the public version does that the Toastmasters version does not do. But I wanted to make sure that when I gave the demo today, that I showed you everything that the Toastmasters version has, because that's included in what you have today, right? So I want to make sure that that's paramount. We need to make sure your team and clubs know they can go out and practice Yoodli whenever they want to. There's no, if I want to practice, and the best part about this is you don't only have to practice on your laptop. I've done Yoodli recordings on my cell phone. I'm just sitting there in the living room and you can do it, right? You can do a Yoodli recording whenever you want to. You can play the games whenever you want to. I've actually demoed Yoodli to a veterans group to help with everyone, assimilating with civilization and helping them gain more confidence. And I even demoed the public version of Yoodli because they weren't Toastmasters to the Miami Heat HR team. So the reason that I'd like to show you the public version is because there is another version if you wanted to just go a little bit higher. That's all. That's all it is.
So I have 2 more questions, and that is, what is the pricing on the version that you showed us? And in any version, what aspects would we use to practice evaluator skills?
Okay, so here is the pricing on the plan. And I just want to show you, you could either do build monthly or build annually. So if there's a little button here, you can go back and forth. Okay. If you, and I'll put it in the chat and I'll give it to everyone else. If you were to use this code, it's Ambassador and my first name, Lana, you're going to get an additional 20% off. Okay, so for the advanced model, it would be $16 a month. And for this one, it's $6.40. Okay, so I'm just letting you know there's an additional savings if you wanted to. Now, the interesting thing is you are going to be able to play the games forever, right? Games are free. The one thing that they're talking about when they say 10 Yoodlis, that's 10 different analytics. And I will be completely transparent. Tomorrow we're having an ambassador meeting and I can follow up with the group here because the pricing could be changing a little bit, right? I was told that it could be changing a little, so I can definitely come back to you with a more pricing of what's going to be current, because I know it's potentially changing. So if there's anything that you see here that you want to talk about, you have any questions on, you can let me know. You can follow up with me directly, or I can continue answering any questions that you have.
So Lana, we have some people in the chat, right?
Mhm.
I think you answered some of them where Naomi, and when I call your name, if you're needing clarification on your question, please come off mute and present your question. Naomi is saying, as long as you have access to the site. So are you saying?
This is Naomi. I was answering someone else's question. They asked how long they had access to it, and I said as long as they have access to that site, their speeches will be saved.
Yep.
Excellent.
Yep.
Available to anyone. Is my Yoodli presentations available to anyone or just me?
Your Yoodli presentations are available to only you. It's saved and stored in the Google Cloud. Everything is 100% secure. When I send over the presentation that you'll have with all my information on it, I can also send over some privacy information so that everyone can understand where the privacy is with Yoodli. It's 100% secure. No one's looking at it. The only thing that might be pulled from it might be some information so that they can aggregate for AI, but no one's going in and listening to your speeches.
Does Yoodli understand Spanish and other languages?
Right now, Yoodli only understands English. They are working to understand other languages because Yoodli is being leveraged by clubs throughout the world. Tomorrow's Yoodli Ambassador call will have those from India, from I think the Middle East, I mean, all over the place. And so they're definitely working on having a translative language. I will tell you, however, we do have some members using Yoodli, recording a speech in another language. And as long as they send it to someone of that language, that person can give feedback on the speech. It's just they're not going to have that script, if you will, in English, like we saw on the screen. But they can definitely share, and they can, there'll be information on, maybe some analytics, but it's not going to give you the full transcript that you see today. I know that's definitely a gap with Yoodli. Yoodli's only about a year or so old, so it's definitely something that is being enhanced all the time.
What's the learning curve on Yoodli?
The learning curve. I will tell you, I was able to show Yoodli to a couple of people this past weekend, and they've been fellow Toastmasters for over 30 years each. And when I showed them the table topics and the presentation, and it's literally logging into Toastmasters International, which we're all familiar with, right? I mean, we all know how to get to pathways. We all know how to get to the home section. We all go to our home page, wherever the home page is. And then all that we need to do is scroll all the way down to the bottom. And when we do that, it's going to be from the organization to you. That's where Yoodli is going to sit. Once you click on it, you're going to be able to go into here, and it's going to bring you to the home page first. This is how it always happens. But you're going to be able to practice either a presentation or a table topic. And you saw how I was able to click on it. I could even choose to refresh the question. If I don't like the question, I can go like this and refresh it. When is it okay to lie? Or I can choose another question completely and decide not even to use any of these. If I want to go back, I can personalize it. I have the option to have it be for peers, for business, children. There's a lot of things here that it's all new. All of these settings are new for me because they're always enhancing it. But the amazing thing is, you're going to be able to see this. You're going to be able to either save your Yoodli, like I showed you, or you can say, ask me AI follow-up questions. You'll be able to read on screen what to say, and then it will give you a 3-second countdown. And you'll be able to answer the question then and go back and forth. So there's different ways to leverage it. I think that I would say give it a try. And if you're struggling with anything, let me know. Reach out to me. You're going to definitely have my contact information. You'll have my email, my telephone number. I'm happy to hop on a call just to walk anyone through it.
Yeah, and Laura, and I have to second what you're saying. It's very easy to use, very intuitive. I've used it for presentations and if I can use it, and so it is a very easy tool to pick up, and it's very, very helpful.
Gives
I
a ton of
just went on it just now, and I think it's great.
Yeah.
It takes like 1 second to sign in because it's very user friendly.
Well, that's good to hear. I love it when they go in and they're like, oh my gosh, I had no idea I had access to this. We need to make sure that every Toastmaster understands the value of this amazing tool. I love our Toastmasters meetings, and I just want to say regarding evaluations, this is AI. This is not going to show you the emotion you had during that presentation. It's not going to talk about your intuition, your imagination. It's going to give you in black and white the filler words, the pacing, the smiles, those types of things. We are always going to need our evaluations for our speeches, because that's when you're going to hear, oh my gosh, you improved so much from the last time. Or, you know what, here, I would maybe talk about a story when something happened, or you were talking about something that was very sad, but you were smiling. So it didn't quite make sense to me. And that's why we're always going to need the speech evaluations. Yoodli will not change that. This is the way for me to enhance what I'm saying and understand what I'm saying and make sure that it's coming across the way that I want it to, not to replace those Toastmasters evaluations. This is more of an, yeah, this is more of an enhancement, right? Just think of it as an enhancement. And, you know, me.
It's a solid learning tool.
Yes, absolutely love it. I love it. Somehow everyone asked me, do you work for Yoodli? No, I really don't. But I just love talking about it so much. I can continue talking about it. I can probably talk the full 2 hours, but I know y'all have somewhere to go. So are there any other questions for me before I wrap it up? Yep. Diana.
A quick question. Yoodli was telling you to move up. What did it want?
So interestingly enough, if I sit back, let's just take a minute, because you can actually turn on a positioning here. Positioning guide I have on. I also have it on to mirror my video. But the positioning guide is what it was saying. So if you see here, there's green, because it feels like I'm sitting too far back. So if I go back like this, all of a sudden I'm not in. It's going to say move up, move to the left, move to the right. What it does when you stop seeing the green on the screen, you know that you're right in the middle and it's going to connect with everything. But you have the option of having that on or off. So you could turn it on with the practice, the personalization. If you want to have it, it can also mirror your video. So just some fun things. And then you could also decide if you want to have the countdown or not. Some people might just want to go right away. Me, I need to take a deep breath. It gives me 3 seconds to center. Okay, now I can talk. That's just me. So you saw my whole little house here. So, okay. Any other questions?
Yes. So you're seated for this entire presentation. Does it work if you stand?
It does work if I stand, and I need to do a better job at standing. You know, I need to get that OBS software. I need to raise my desk, and I need to be able to stand. Yes, it absolutely works. With it, really, it's just a Zoom. It's looking at you through the Zoom camera. So as long as the camera is centered on you, whether you're standing up and you're able to talk and walk around, it will absolutely capture you. I do know that it does like to see your facial expressions, and that way it can count if you're smiling and stuff. So just one thing to think about, if you are using like an OBS software or something and you have a huge green screen behind you, if you're looking for Yoodli to tell you if you're smiling or not, I don't know how close you have to be to the camera. That's the only thing. But everything else, it will definitely pick up your filler words, pacing, all of that type of stuff. Absolutely. It just might be a little bit off depending on how far away you are from the Zoom lens.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I need to get better. I'm going to be honest with you. I think this last time I stood up and talked at the TLI, I think that might have been the 6th time ever I've stood up to give a presentation for Toastmasters, because my club was completely virtual during COVID, right? And so I didn't have to get up to give a presentation. That's something new for me. So I do have to get better at it. I know my hands don't go where they're supposed to. Like, put your hands up by your face. And I'm like, well, that looks weird. But otherwise it looks like things are swimming at the bottom. So I do apologize for that. Anything else?
Okay. I think we are on time as well, Lona. So I would like to take a moment to thank you on behalf of everyone in District 18. I can see it's the first session and we have almost 60 people in the room, which is like a houseful session. I would like to present you a token of appreciation by giving you a certificate from my side and on behalf of District 18. Give me a minute. Okay. So Lona, this certificate is for you. I request you to please accept. I'll share this you over email as well. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a big round of applause to our guest speaker, distinguished Toastmaster Lona Fink, for this amazing session on how to use Yoodli and how to improve our public speaking and leadership skills with this wonderful tool. Thank you so much, Lona, once again.
You're welcome. And I just have to say to everyone, good luck with the contest this year. You're all going to kill it. I know it. So good luck. Everyone, have fun with Yoodli. It's fun. You're welcome.
Thank you so much. All right, I'll take off the certificate now. And before we get into the breakout rooms, I think it's a great moment when we have almost 60 members together.